brought to us by our sponsors, Bell Lifestyle Products, they can be not necessarily conversations that are normal to just be open about, because some of it, when it comes to health issues, we're kind of guarded, right? I mean, you might whisper to a friend. Sometimes you'd even talk about it amongst family, just because sometimes it's considered to be, slightly embarrassing, depending on what we're talking about. Now, this is not in that category per se, what we're going to talk about this morning, but it's an issue that you don't necessarily want to be walking around saying, I have problems with digestion. Yeah, well, that's a problem when you eat, a barrel of chicken wings and you shove a couple of beers down there and finish it with chocolate cake. See, these are the things that probably kind of don't lend itself to helping digestion. But that's not to say even when you eat right, that there could be an issue. And that's when you need help from professionals. And that's what we're doing here this morning with one of our favorites, Alicia Ravenna. Thanks so much for joining us here this morning. Great to see you.
Good morning. Great to see you guys too.
Look at the sun coming behind you. It's like an angel, I would say. An angel of digestion. Is there such a thing?
I have angels all around me.
So if I go to a cathedral in Poland, I'm probably going to see something that looks very similar to this, I think.
Exactly. Or better.
or better. Well, thanks so much for joining us here this morning. And, digestion is one of those things that, again, it's not something people openly, they're maybe not talking to even their friends about it. But there's a lot of people who do suffer from some of those issues, and they probably, aside from taking Tums, or like people just they don't know what to do when they have this issue.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest issues, especially now that we are home, because we are not controlling ourselves with what we're eating. We don't have to get dressed up and go to work. So we don't actually see if we are putting on weight. And that has a lot to do with it. Weight gain and not eating the right foods can disrupt your digestion. And in long term, it has really bad side effects. It can cause autoimmune disease. It can cause blood sugar elevation. It can cause all kinds of issues. And even, especially gut issues, they develop from bad eating. But Bell came up with these really nice teas for all that. So for people that are suffering from bloating and gas, there is the number 29 Easy Digestion Tea, which I quite often suggest to my clients, along with a good diet and exercise, of course. And I tell them to have that tea a couple of times a day after a big meal. It kind of relieves that feeling of being bloated and gassy, how people, and constipation too, actually. So it's a really nice tea. It makes you feel at ease after you drink it.
I would 1000% agree with that, because I have had that tea. I continue to have that tea, and it actually has a nice taste to it as well. Because a lot of times when you're drinking something or you're trying something for a first time, you want to have the appeal of something that actually tastes good. If it's bitter or it has that taste where it's like, oh, I know it works, but I don't want to taste that, you'll back away from it. And I find personally, not only does it work, but it actually tastes pretty good. It's a nice calming tea. It's really good for my stomach.
It's very nice. It has peppermint in it and ginger, has sage. So the flavors are really nice. And the marshmallow is also very nice, and their chamomile. So all those herbal ingredients that are in the tea are very pleasant to your taste. So not only that it tastes good, but it really helps. Ginger and peppermint are one of my top supplements that I suggest to people when they're suffering from indigestion.
Yeah.
Now, does it have to be consumed hot, or can you have it cold? Because some people kind of like cold tea. Does it lose anything if it's not warm?
I can tell you this, that your gut prefers warm stuff. Even when you wake up in the morning, the first thing in the morning, you should just have a glass of room temperature water with lemon. It wakes up the liver, it wakes up the whole gut system. It's preferably warm. It would work better. It's soothing rather than cold.
Well, okay, let me ask you that last question. So when you wake up in the morning, what do you like to drink exactly?
Not what you're drinking. I think you have a coffee first, right?
Oh no, no,
I've
I would
never had a
not.
coffee in my
No,
life.
no, Dave doesn't drink, but I have a coffee. I would have a coffee.
And that's that you shouldn't do that. Do you suffer from acid reflux?
No,
Okay.
no,
So then
no.
you're okay.
No, like sometimes I wake up my liver with something different. It's called vodka. Uh, no, like it's like a lot of people. I would be a coffee first person. Now I'm not a coffee freak. Some people, if they don't have
Yeah.
their coffee, they go nuts. I'm not quite that way, but I do enjoy a coffee in the morning. But Dave, he's never had coffee that I've ever known.
Yeah.
Good for you, Dave. Coffee, if you have it first thing in the morning, it stimulates your hydraulic acid, and that can lead into indigestion and gastritis and all the unpleasantness that goes with it. So I usually say to people, if you're suffering from any digestive issues, make sure that when you do wake up, have a room temperature water with either lemon or apple cider vinegar in it. It
Yes.
helps to stimulate the digestion and wake up your liver and gut.
Can you tell me more about number 39, acid stomach alkaline balance, and what it does and how you can compare it to the tea? Because I know this is similar, but there is some differences as well.
Yes, definitely. So that's another one of my favorite teas. I usually suggest both if someone is suffering from indigestion. If there is indigestion, there's an acid buildup. Not everyone can feel the acid coming up, but guaranteed you have some kind of acid to break down. Usually it's suggested to people, I suggest it to people on a keto diet because they eat a lot of fats and meats, and red meats especially are very acidic. It has such a good formula. It has chlorophyll greens in it. It has alfalfa. It has my favorite spirulina in there. It has aloe vera, which is very soothing on your intestinal walls. It kind of protects them. It also has MSM that lowers the inflammation in your body. If you have acid, there's some kind of inflammation brewing up already. So it's a great tea to have either first thing in the morning or just before bedtime. It will help with the acid. And if you don't know if you are acidic, the normal pH level is above 7. So your stomach is healthy if it's about over 7. If it's below, you know that you are starting to have issues. And it's very easily checked. You can just buy strips at Nutrition House. We have those, and you can either put it in your mouth or you can actually urinate on it, and it will tell you your pH level. But this is a tea that can help anyone with any type of acid buildup.
We're in conversation with Alicia Ravenna from Nutrition House. She is joining us here this morning on News Talk Saga 960, Raw Mike Richards, to talk about issues of digestion. You've heard a couple of products. I know there's one more that we're going to talk about from Bell Lifestyle Products, our good friends and sponsors of the show. But I did notice one thing in the industry, and I'm not sure when it happened, but the use of the word gut. Before I thought it was more slang years ago, but it seems like within your industry, we started actually talking about issues and referring to, I suppose, the stomach area as gut. When did that happen, and why did they do that?
When did that happen? I probably wasn't around yet. I'm too young for that. I'm not sure.
But gut is like gut. You get hurt in the gut. You get hit in the gut. That was one thing that you'd say in sports. I never really heard people in of a medical or a background of physical nature regarding human beings, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing and I'm seeing in magazines they're talking about gut.
Well, gut is our second brain, really, and that's what they refer to as well. We have to treat it seriously because any issues that arise in your gut will proceed throughout your body, like I mentioned before. And gut, they relate to your intestinal issues, your liver, your other organs, pancreas, and so on. So it's all one word with many organs in it
Right.
as to
As
say.
opposed to stomach, which is stomach only. Gut is everything else. I
Everything.
see. I gotcha. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Makes
Well,
sense.
a
Makes
lot of
sense.
people suffer from a lot of issues and they don't know what they are in the gut, whether
Right.
it's their stomach, whether it's the pancreas, gallbladder, or any other issue. And they come in and give you the symptoms, and then you have to figure out which organ it is, but relating to it as a gut issue.
Final tea that we want to talk about is the number 21B constipation relief tea. Is this something that we take immediately after, or is this something that you kind of should take consistently? And how does this work compared to the first two teas that we talked about?
Well, David, this one is a little bit different. If someone is chronically suffering from constipation, I would say stay on this tea till you have some relief. I suggest this tea for weight loss as well because it has a lot of diuretics in it, has dandelion, and it's also good for digestion because it has the peppermint and marshmallow. So it's a tea that basically it is a tea that will help you cleanse a little bit. So if you're suffering from constipation, it will give you the relief. And when you relieve yourself, you can lose weight, right? So it's beneficial to both.
Well, once again, some of these ingredients, like Dave, you use some of these, correct? You have used like the teas. I think that you on a regular basis have used the teas, have you not?
The easy digestion tea, yes, because I was having a little bit of stomach issues and so forth. And that's why when we talked about it, I actually like the taste of it. And yes, I can't recommend it more warm than cold because I actually like cold stuff. But
Really?
for something like this, I go warm. Not even a hint of cold in that, and I feel it's helped. I almost find it too, Alicia, when you have and you know you're going to have a heavier meal. There's something like if you're having a soup sandwich, chicken, that's not that heavy. But when you know you're having a prime rib or you're having a pot roast or something of that nature, I find this is almost like I have to have this within an hour of eating the food, just so my night's a little more comfortable, and it helps out so much.
Yeah.
It does. I have this tea here at home all the time when I invite companies.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
After a big meal, everyone feels so much better just having that tea, and then you can move on to dessert,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, dessert. Don't get me started on dessert. I'm thinking about cake as we talk, just so you know. And it's a good thought.
Well,
Alicia,
tea and cake goes well together.
Yes, it does. Alicia, before we go, where can they find you exactly? I know you work at Nutrition House, and it's there's many locations across the GTA, but where can they find you exactly? And so good to talk to you this morning.
Thank you. You can find me at Nutrition House in Heartland. That's in Mississauga. And you can also find me on my page, Key to Nutrition, on Instagram. I am going to have a website very soon, so I'm very excited. Next time I'm on the radio, I'll let you know. And you can also call me at 416-906-6173.
Well, once again, it's always great catching up with you. Some fabulous products here this morning that really do help people. And I said that's what these segments are all about. So thank you so much for this morning. I said always lovely to see you. Great job. And we will talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. All the best to you guys.
That is Alicia Ravenna joining us, talking on behalf of Bell Lifestyle Products. She is from Nutrition House. And once again, those products here this morning, number 39 was the acidic stomach alkaline balance. You had number 21, which was the constipation relief tea. And there was one other, the 29 easy digestion tea. That's the one that Dave was talking about. That's the one that Dave uses. So once again, another great job by our good friends at Bell Lifestyle Products.